Hi guys, it's your girl Deborah, student, singer, songwriter, and everything else in between. Hi, if you guys are new to my channel, I make fun commentary about my favorite TV shows and movies. I make music and I stay cute. And that's all we need to do this 2023 in this whole period. So today I am coming back with more commentary on The Summer I Turned Pretty. And today we're focusing on the episodes I didn't talk about the last time, 4, 5, and 6. So let's get into it because we have a lot to talk about. Episode 4 starts off with Conrad having a panic attack and he goes to the beach to try and calm himself down after finding out, of course, that his house is going to be sold and he just needs to breathe. Him and Steven have a little heart-to-heart basically, and you know, Conrad is really just trying to deal with everything himself and Steven is letting him know that he doesn't have to do that. My man still needs therapy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The kids are still trying to stay in the house and Aunt Julia is trying to get them out desperately, but of course they don't want to leave. That is their way of protesting. And basically the AC gets destroyed, which it is hinted that the AC gets destroyed because Steven might have done something to it, but that is only noticed by Taylor later in the episode. Because it's too hot in the house, Aunt Julia finds somebody to fix the AC and the kids go off to the amusement park that is at Cousins. I forgot the name. I don't really care. Skye tags along with them unwillingly, but sure, she does. And of course, it's very, very, very awkward between everyone and Skye. Basically, Skye is like, I'm not a touchy person. I'm not a hugging person, and let's see how this goes. The episode continues with them just having fun at this amusement park, tagging along in games and competing with one another. But also the favorite thing about this episode is my man Cam is back. My man Cam, period. I love my man Cam, period. Cameron. He's back and he's working at this amusement park place. And so basically they see each other at this. Also, like throughout the whole entire episode, he opens up different attractions for them basically. And I'm like, it's not legal. Can you do that? Can you do that? Can you really do that? Okay. But anyways, I still love my man Cam, and that's on period. Throughout, while playing the games, you see more dynamics develop between Jeremiah and Belly, especially when they do the Tower of Terror and they hold hands and, you know, they're having a little moment as per usual, but also her and Conrad have a little moment and we get this flashback as to when they were 13 years old and it was revealed that Conrad had a crush on this girl who was working at the amusement park at the time and Belly still had a crush on Conrad, and I don't know if he really knew, but it kind of broke her heart when she found out. And they have this motif with the plushie that they see. In the flashback, Belly said, okay, well, I would have preferred a giraffe instead of this like polar bear thing that you got me. Cut to the present when Belly wins. Belly is asked which type she wants and she chooses the giraffe. Asked to basically say that she is not the same girl that she was when she was 13 and not everything has to come back to Conrad and things are different now, which we all know it kind of is, but it also kind of isn't. Skye is absolutely an adorable character and I absolutely stan. I don't know if it's just me, but in this episode there were a lot of like awkward pauses basically. I don't know why, but like there were some awkward moments. I guess they were put in there to let them know that there's still a lot of tension happening within the group, but I noticed that there were some like odd cuts. I don't know if that's the editing choice or that is a choice to make us believe that this is actually a little bit still awkward in real life no matter how much fun that they're having. Taylor is honestly just such a good friend. She's constantly letting Belly know that, hey girlie, you have history with both of these people. Please be careful. And I honestly stand. I love Taylor. Basically, episode 4 is just kind of filler, but with Cam in there. And that's like literally the highlight of the episode. The rest of them is just having fun and playing laser tag. And it's just all fun and games. Episode 5 continues off of that. And basically, as they get back to the house, Aunt Julia has kind of kicked them out. Cam, being the literal sweetheart that he is, offers them shelter in the hotel area, which we find out that his mom is the manager of. And so he has the spare key. And so he lets them like stay in the place at the time, and of course they have a lot of fun. I mean, there's some cute moments. Also, like, again, I'm not American, but I definitely did want to try the whole Twizzler in a Coke thing. Twizzler in a cherry Coke. Like, I think that's just a rush of diabetes and sugar, but I want to try it. Like, I've never had a Twizzler, so I'm very interested to see how that works. Basically, Jeremiah and Belly keep on having these really cute moments, but also guess who's having cute moments? My girl Taylor and Steven. Now y'all know I don't like Steven like that, but I do like the fact that they are getting closer, and at some point in the episode they have a dance with one another and they come very close to kissing, and then they get caught by Jeremiah and Conrad, which was really, really fun. Cameron is completely stressed because of course everyone is littering in the room and he gets completely freaked out. Crux of the episode comes towards the end of the episode when they are all sitting down together in the golfing area, by the way, which is also like not allowed, but I digress. And they all sit down and they all start playing a game of truth or dare. which we know in teenage movies, TV shows, truth or dare is always a hot fucking mess. Period. Skye, who's completely unaware of all the dynamics that's happening, is like, hey, I dare Jeremiah to kiss Belly. Girl. When I tell you, my head froze when she said that. I said, girl, not you starting drama. It becomes immediately awkward and they just immediately shut it off, and Jeremiah's like, are we too old for that? And everyone just continues awkwardly. Again, that's what I mean. There's a lot of awkward dynamics in between each person, but at the end of the episode, Jeremiah really does confess that the reason that he didn't want to kiss her is not because he doesn't want to kiss her, but if he kisses her, then he doesn't know if he will stop, which is kind of cute. It's kind of cute. I won't lie. I mean, if somebody told me that, I'd be like, oh, ciao. Anyways, I won't lie. This show has some cute moments. I'm like, okay, girl. Okay, I see you, Jeremiah. I see you. Okay. Also, one thing I do want to mention that is very, very interesting that has changed between these episodes is that we finally have some more POV from Jeremiah. And also Jeremiah has a lot of voiceovers, and he basically actively tells us at many different times how much he really felt for Belly. And so we finally get to see things from his point of view and how he feels.
I can remember the exact moment when everything changed.
There's also a moment where Conrad and Jeremiah have a discussion about dating Belly. And again, I really hate the fact that Conrad just kind of expected Jeremiah to like sidelight his feelings a little bit for his blessing. Like, damn, my man Jeremiah, it is what it is. But anyways, in episode 6, we come off from the fact that the crew, the gang, has gone to the amusement park and they had fun, and then they came back and realized that Aunt Julia sold everything in the house. She found a buyer, she sold the house, and she left their stuff in the garage like a stone cold bitch. I don't know, girl. That is the cliffhanger in episode 5, and so we continue from that in episode 6. And basically, you know, the crew is obviously upset because what the hell was that? Everything changes, and now they realize, like, okay, this house is fully gone forever. Great. And of course, Conrad, being Conrad, y'all know I'm not a fan. He's immediately just going at it. I mean, I really do appreciate that in this episode, they do not blame Skye, because the last episode, I was finna fight Conrad for real. Like, that was completely unnecessary. But in this episode, they don't fight Skye. Instead, Skye realizes that she actually does love spending time with her cousins, and there's more to one side of the story. Angelia, of course, wants to leave with Skye and plans to go to Boston on the same day. And Skye stands up to her and basically says, hey, like, no, I don't want to do this. My cousins are really enjoying their time here, and I finally feel a part of the family, and maybe everything you've been mentioning isn't really completely 100% true from your POV. You know what I'm saying? Skye has a conversation with her mother, and first of all, we see a flashback between Aunt Julia and Susanna, and it kind of shows you their dynamic. Basically, you see this dynamic of the golden child and the scapegoat, kind of. At one point in the flashback, Julia says that she overheard their mother, or either stepmother, ask if Aunt Julia had to stay for that long because her sad face was quote unquote making everybody sad, which is obviously like a terrible thing to hear, especially if that is your biological mom, but I wasn't really clear on that, so I'm not really sure. Julia calls out the fact that Susanna has practically married someone like their father, which Susanna does not want to talk about, but it could be low-key, high-key true. Susanna and her have a confrontation, a mild confrontation, about what their childhoods actually look like, and Julia tells this piece of information to Susanna, but Susanna listens, and then she kind of like waves it off and gives it an excuse, and Julia is convinced that she doesn't see her point of view. And that's why I call this the scapegoat / golden child, because it becomes apparent that Susanna had a closer relationship with their parents than Julia did, and Julia always felt like an outsider. It is then further revealed that Aunt Julia isn't really selling the house because she can't afford it. Apparently, she can. It's not for the money, it's not for the convenience, it's not for the upkeep. No. It is for what Skye calls closure, which is insane. I'm so sorry, but if I had a home and my aunt came to sell it and lied to me about the reasons why she was selling it, I would be pissed. I would be hella pissed. That's kind of a dickhead move. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of asshole behavior. Like, Julia asks Skye to get in the car and Skye says no, and she would rather prefer to spend the rest of the time at cousins with her cousins. After this, they all reconvene in the kitchen, and Belly comes up with the idea of giving a final farewell to the house by having a party. Yay! Throwing a party, a rager, while everyone is dealing with grief and everyone's actually secretly sad, and adding alcohol to the mix is the best idea you could possibly think of. Great. They all agree and they're really interested in the idea. And also Cameron is there, which it makes me laugh because doesn't Cameron have a job? Doesn't he have a job at the pier? Because he's still in his uniform. And literally when I saw him, my brain was like, sir, don't you have a job to return to? Like, I love this man, but like, why are you still here in that uniform? Is it your day off? Like, as things progress, Taylor gets called by Milo, to which I literally thought to myself, girl, why are you still with this man? Like, why? And Steven, with the small ounce of character growth that he's gotten, becomes an immediate brat, takes the phone out of Taylor's hands. See, that's why I don't like Steven. That's why I don't like Steven, y'all. I'm telling you, I still beef with him till this day. Anyways, Skye and Cam go off by themselves to find some DJ equipment. And it becomes very apparent that we're getting vibes from them. We were already getting vibes from episode 5, but like it's giving vibes. It was giving vibes. Cam obviously has this obsession with whales, which is literally like, y'all, I'm a team Cam shipper for real. Like, I will always support Cam in anything he does. He's literally the sweetest human being ever. And his obsession with whales was a little interesting, but it's fine. Like, at least he's not doing anything weird. He just loves whales. Leave the man alone. Like, and they have a little moment in their room. Well, not a romantic moment, but a little moment of closure. Cam discusses the fact that he's actually not that outgoing when it comes to taking decisions, and he regrets not being spontaneous in certain moments. And the thing is like, I totally get that, but also my man is not completely not spontaneous either. Like, in the first season, he was bold enough to ask Belly out after like the first day of meeting her. So it's not like he's the most shy person on earth. Like, he had a little bit of kick to him, and he knew what he wanted in season 1. Like, when Belly was drunk and she was all over the place, he was like, no, this is not for me. So he does have a backbone and a spine, but he's a little bit shy. He's a shy boy. Belly pushes him into the pool, and they have, of course, a little moment, and they're very, very close to kissing again, which, Jeremiah boy, have you not learned your lesson? Like, every time these two are about together, I'm like, yo, did y'all learn anything from the last season? Anything at all. They're about to kiss when they get into the pool, but of course Belly pushes herself away, and things are getting a little bit spicy between Conrad, Belly, and Jeremiah. Taylor calls Belly to go out with Conrad to go fetch more party supplies, and well, Jeremiah invites himself as well. As they go on this little trip to a store, a convenience store, if you will, we're greeted by that creepy guy that was there in season 1 who was really into Belly, which, by the way, like, she was 15, 16 at the time. She was 16. It's still a bit creepy. He's still a creeper. Like, he was also really creepy at the beach in season 1. I don't know why, like, he's a creepy dude. I don't know why we're inviting him to things, but sure. Jeremiah and Conrad both tried to obtain alcohol, which reminds me of the fact that none of these boys are even 21 years old. None of these people are even 21 years old. Not one. They both try to buy alcohol, and that doesn't work. And then Belly tries it. And this show really tries to convince us that with a mix of her beauty, a cute top, and a good sob story, and he immediately just gives her crates of alcohol as if that's legal, as if he doesn't have a responsibility, as if there's no cameras in that convenience store. Yeah. Only in the movies. Only in the movies. Also, as somebody who lives in Europe and doesn't live in the US, like, only being able to buy alcohol at 21 is ridiculous to me. I don't even drink, but the idea is ridiculous. Like, you have to be 21. What is it about 21 that enables you to have alcohol? It's either you make it 25 or you just keep it at 18, but sure. Anyways, as they're leaving the convenience store, Belly grabs a shake for herself and for Jeremiah, and they have this like little moment, of course, because they're besties. Finally, there is a confrontation with Conrad and Belly about the behavior that happened at the funeral. And so it turns out that, again, Conrad was having panic attacks, and unfortunately the only person that could calm him at the time was the girl that was there. But Belly misunderstood the situation, and she kind of made the funeral about them instead of about the fact that it's a funeral. you know. And she apologized for it, which is growth. It's character growth, you know what I mean? And they have a little bit of a moment, you know, and Jeremiah walks in on them. When I look at this, when I get these little scenes about them confronting one another, my brain literally thinks like, okay, but what are we gonna get out of this? Like, let's think about the alternative scenarios. If Belly gets with Jeremiah instead of Conrad, you're just gonna have what we had in the early parts of season 2, but then switched around with Jeremiah. Because Conrad's feelings are gonna get hurt. No one is really thinking about this, and they're just really feeling, and they're just really being hormonal. Because, I'm sorry, did we not learn our lesson the last time? Or do we need a season 3? And I know Jeremiah is really into Belly, but like sometimes I'm like, boy, like, have you learned nothing about how messy this is? What are you expecting to come out of this? Okay, so you get Belly, and you risk losing your brother, and then you and Belly might probably break up at some point. So then if you break up at some point, you also have a fractured relationship with your brother. See what I mean? It's not really making sense. Am I the only one who feels this way? Because like, as much as everyone wants them to be together, my brain is being too realistic. And it's like, what do you expect from this, babe? Anyways, when all 3 of them get back to the house, there's this little moment in the kitchen between Taylor, Belly, and Skye. Skye confesses that they've never had a kiss before, and they ask Taylor and Belly how to properly kiss. And it's literally the cutest Skye moment ever. Like, Skye is really growing on me as a person. Then we get to the party, which is the finale of the episode, and basically a lot of shit goes down. The Summer I Turned Pretty has a theme of mixing alcohol and emotions together, and every time alcohol and emotions are mixed together, things always go bad. Things always go bad, and they did go bad. Milo shows up at the party, and he has a confrontation with Steven over Taylor. Steven confesses his feelings to Taylor, and they're about to kiss when Milo shows up in that specific room that they're in. Basically, it becomes a free-for-all. They're brawling, or they're trying to at least, because they're both teenage boys and they don't know how to properly fight like that. Skye and Cam both attempted to warn Taylor about this, but like they were kind of just like, well, whatever happens, happens. Skye loves drama. I noticed that. Skye and Cameron go off somewhere else, and they have this little cute moment, and of course they kiss. Of course. We knew they were gonna kiss. We knew. How do I feel about this coupling? I'm just happy for Cam. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just happy that somebody is finally noticing Cam and his abilities and is egging him on to be the best man that he can be, because my man deserves the world, and that's on that period. I don't completely know how I feel about Cam and Skye together, because like, thing is, I actually like them. Like, I'm not mad at them, but I wonder how their dynamic is gonna work, because Cam is all cute cuddly bug, and Skye is not that emotional, but you do definitely see Skye trying to open up and trying to be more vulnerable with people. So I hope that like that comes through in their relationship. But I'm very interested to see how this goes. I'm not mad at the coupling. I do kind of feel like the writers needed somebody that was close enough to the group to couple up with Cam so it could kind of make sense, and they could kind of be like 3 boys, 3 girls situation. I do definitely feel like they were just trying to couple them up so it could be easier, so that they could all be like this intertwined group. Is that the best decision? I don't know. I want to see how Skye's and Cam's relationships evolve before I give like a full verdict. But right now, I'm not mad at it. Like, it doesn't make me like, no, I'm happy for the both of them. And I want to see how their relationship works, and I want to see their relationship dynamic. And I hope the writers are not just trying to pair these two up just to tie up the loose knots at the end of the show. You know what I mean? Or Jeremiah and Conrad finally have a confrontation with one another, of course, over Belly. And Jeremiah has had enough, and he calls out Conrad for basically just kind of being a wimp about certain things whenever he feels super, super overwhelmed. Instead of discussing with people, he just kind of just like loves to disappear, which fair. But I do think like, again, someone has passed away in this situation. And even though Conrad's not my favorite, like, he didn't really need to do that at the party, you know? And he also, I really like the fact that Belly said, do not use me against your brother. I love that. I really think that the confrontation was needed. I think the confrontation was bound to happen at some point, and I'm really glad that it did, because child, it was a hot mess. Anyway, Jeremiah does exchange some really harsh words, and I don't completely agree with him in everything that he says. Jeremiah says that he doesn't look up to Conrad anymore, and I don't think that was really necessary. Belly goes off, you know, and she's drunk again. She sees the party, she sees the house, and she realizes this is not the same vibe as it was when Susanna was alive, which obviously it cannot be. And so she realizes she's been trying to obsess over creating the same feelings that she had around this beach house, but it's never going to be the same, and things are not going to be the same because you have involved two other human beings' feelings in your situation, girly. It can never be the same. That is what we're trying to tell you. She goes off to the beach and she and Conrad have a confrontation, and she asks Conrad why Conrad didn't tell her that he went to Jeremiah about their relationship, because of course Conrad never really told her anything that was happening with him personally. Again, no shade, no tea. I just don't agree with Conrad a lot of the times. I'm sorry. Anyways, basically Belly is like, hey, why didn't you tell me about that? I would have fought for you, which was an interesting choice and an interesting statement, but we'll get to that later. You know, when alcohol is involved, I don't take anyone seriously. I hate how alcohol has to be the sort of agent of chaos that finally brings people to tell the truth to one another. And instead, you could have just had a sober conversation and this wouldn't have been as messy as it was. But it makes for good TV, I guess. She goes back to the beach house, and while she sits in a room and she cries and she calls her mother and tells her everything's a mess and she needs someone to fix it. Which, again, if you guys have seen my last video, you know that I know I have coined that Belly has the Elena Gilbert complex, and my girl cannot take responsibility when she makes a mess of things. And again, I will give her the grace, she's 16, it's a hot mess, but you really need to realize that, like, if you're getting people's feelings involved, girly, there's gonna be some consequences. And the fact that, like, you see that she's still young when she asks her mom to fix things. And that's what I mean, like, with everybody in this triangle with Belly, it's kind of just like, are you all not thinking about the consequences of what you're doing? Also, by the way, can we just say that Jeremiah gets very, very steamy at the party, and Belly, like, falls into him, and Jeremiah whispers some things in her ear. I'm not gonna lie, Jeremiah had been going there for us. Taylor breaks up with Milo, and finally her and Steven are together, which, again, I don't like Steven, but I love Taylor. And if she's happy, I love that for her. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at their coupling. I just hope Steven takes care of her. I hope Steven loves her. And I hope Steven worships the fucking ground that she walks on, because she deserves it. There's 2 more episodes left, so I'm really interested to see, like, how... Or is it 2 episodes? I think 4 episodes left. I'm not sure. But I'm really interested to see how they solve this, because there is no way that ending up with either Jeremiah or Conrad will be peaceful. It's never going to be peaceful. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do at the end of the show. Like, are they going to make Belly go on her own? Or, like, is she finally going to get some character growth and realize maybe I should not egg on both people at the same time? Okay, I think if we were to fix this situation, I think what would really, really help in this situation is adding another person. Let me explain. Okay, I know this is messy. The show is already a mess. But if Belly goes off with Jeremiah or Belly goes off with Conrad, one of them will end up being hurt. So that means for us to have a peaceful settlement, somebody has to come in and take precedence in somebody else's life. That if we were to solve this, somebody has to stop having feelings for Belly. The show keeps on alluding to the fact that Conrad and Belly are over. Like, they're over and he hurt her, so they shouldn't be together anymore. So for that to be, like, finalized, in my personal opinion, I wish they would add, like, another person that Conrad could feel really close to, but I don't think we'll have enough time because of the episode schedule. But, like, what would really be perfect here if Conrad is interested in another person, right? Because he realizes the mess between Jeremiah and Belly is a little too much for him to handle, and he goes off with another person, and he's interested in another person, and they sort of, like, have this moment where they're like, maybe it's better if we just stay with our separate people, because us together, we didn't work out. And at their conversation at the beach, they did say that they loved each other, but maybe, just maybe, it would be great if we have some character growth and for them to realize that sometimes you can just have your first love and you have feelings for them, and that's, like, normal, but sometimes it's just better not to go there. Cam getting along with Skye has really just taken him out of that love square, which was the biggest mess ever. There needs to be another person who comes into Conrad's life who is more mature than Belly. I think that will be the moment in which Belly will really decide, did she want to be with Conrad or Jeremiah? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I feel like Belly being interested in Jeremiah, like, I know they're trying to establish it, and how much of a hottie biscotti he is. But sometimes I just feel like she's really into him just because of the fact that her and Conrad have broken up. But if Conrad was to be like, oh, I really loved you and I want to get back together, would she go back with Conrad? That's why I'm saying we need an extra person, right? If a third person comes into the mix, gets with Conrad, then she realizes that, oh, psych, I actually really love Conrad. They figure that out and they actually stay together forever and they pair up and they don't do the back and forth thing anymore. I think that would personally work. Or it could be the other way around. Belly could realize, actually, Jeremiah really loves me and actually Conrad is just not the best decision for me. I'm team Jeremiah. You know what I mean? We need an extra person. Anyways, as for everybody else, I love the character growth that's happening and I'm very excited to see how this all ends. But anyways, that's been my commentary. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be coming back to you guys with another 3-episode breakdown at the end when the season finale drops. I'm very excited to see what happens. But yeah, below I am still watching Gilmore Girls, so you guys will be getting more content about that. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think I would tackle, I spoke about Ginny and Georgia the last video and you guys were like, yes. So also, I did a poll recently and I also put up the option to like watch movies and have you guys like watch my literal reactions while I'm watching movies because I love to watch movies and not always talk about them. And you guys actually voted for that the most, which is very, very interesting. So I will be at the end of August, hopefully, introducing a new segment into my channel called Film Fridays, where I just watch films with you guys every 2 weeks. Because I need 2 weeks to edit that because I'm still in law school. And if I'm not making commentary, I will just be making just Film Fridays and you guys will get to see my live reaction. But let's see how the first video goes first. If it does well, then we're officially gonna have a series. So I'm very excited about that. First movie I will be watching is Twilight because I have comments. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.